Hey, Soraya? Who am I talking to?
It's me and my friend Marty Van B.
Marty Van B. And he says to the 3 o'clock styling to your rocking tunes. So, I mean, it's definitely Baroque, isn't it?
Yeah, keep it up,
Keep it up.
Marty Van B. Good old Marty Van B.
So, two things. Why are you holding that up?
Well, first of all, because this has to do with our album focus for today. And those of you who have this, which on one side shows the great Marty Van B, but on the other has lyrics
Ooh,
from the 3 o'clock 16 Tambourines
16
album.
Tambourines. Yes. We've done album focuses on the 3 o'clock, including the EP, Ride Without Traveling, but not this classic album, 16 Tambourines. So it's definitely time. Second thing I wanted to mention is love the wardrobe.
You know, Jeff, I was just going to say your shirt is pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
Jeff and
So,
I today coordinated because if you haven't figured it out, Jeff and I are actually fraternal twins, separated by a couple of years, but we're
yeah. One of us has a little bit more gray.
just a smidge, just a smidge.
Yeah. So, unplanned, I will say, on the shirts. And it makes sense that we're wearing 3 o'clock shirts. And usually I wear my green shirt, but
And I took a guess. I said, Jeff's gonna wear his green one. I'm gonna wear my red one, and then we both log on, and voila,
here we are. Here we
we're
are.
coordinated, super duper coordinated. All right, Jeff. So today, as everyone has now figured out, we're going to be talking and focusing on the 3 o'clock 16 tambourines. I say let's just jump into it.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme,
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy. All right.
All right, Jeff.
Whoa, look at that stack.
Jeff, since you're the completist.
Wow.
Right? Okay, so I've got a few. I'm not a completist about many bands, but I'm almost a completist here.
Wow.
I've got 2 pressings of Baroque, Frontier and Lolita. I've got Arrive Without Traveling. I even have Ever After in Vermilion. And my original Rainy Day bought at Aaron's Records back in the day, RIP.
Wow. Yeah.
And I have my Reunion signed by various, but not all. 3 o'clock Live at the Waldorf, Aquarius Andromeda, RIP, Burger Records, and even Salvation Army Live. Wow. But my dear, today, see that's my only. Those are the only times that Jeff and I can compete. Is when it's stuff that I actually have. But Jeff, we're talking about this beauty.
Yes.
Which, okay, this is a whole other story for another day. But yes, I have all 4 members, and this was signed back in the 80s.
Wow.
Including Mike Mariano, which I have many things to say about Mike Mariano later on. But one of the things I did want to mention is, in the spirit of completist, do you have this one that was released on Vinilissimo? A Spanish label that does re-releases, reissues, but they do it on 180 gram vinyl.
Yes.
So I have that still sealed, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, I do have that. I'm pretty obsessed with this album. So I have a number. I think for this record, I have more copies of this album than any other album that I have. So it's I have a problem with this album.
Honey, we all do.
So I have my original pressing on Frontier. That
you even have Earl's signature?
Only Earl and Lewis on the original.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then I have the 2 versions that came on Lolita that have there's a variant on the picture.
2 shots.
Yeah, so there's 2 pictures on Lolita. Two Japanese pressings because one's a white label promo, and then
My.
and then the one that you just mentioned, and then Frontier had a colored version
Yeah. I
that I
think.
bought.
Oh, the one on blue vinyl.
Yes, yeah. And then of course my little CD copy, the Frontier version, and then I had my original cassette version, Soraya. Oh yes, look at that white version.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
And then two cassette versions. You were speaking about burger earlier, and this is the burger in the original Frontier. So I have
You know what? I bow. I bow down.
I got a problem.
But there is one thing Jeff and I do not have.
Yes.
And I think the only people who can help us, perhaps, are the band members themselves to help us locate it. And so in doing research for this, Jeff and I discovered, or Jeff probably knew, but I didn't. There's a cassette only release on IRS from 1984, and it's called the 3 o'clock demos, 9/25/84.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wonder, putting it out there, I wonder if the one and only Danny Benair may have a copy, or could point us in the direction of someone who would be willing to sell us said copy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you all listeners have it, let us know,
please,
because we want to know who we need to hit up. Who's the supplier?
Yeah, indeed.
Because that's one thing at least Jeff needs for sure. I would like it, but Jeff is truly the completest. I am merely learning.
There's a space in my cassette storage over here. There's one space just empty, just waiting for that demo.
I will build a cabinet for it. Okay, but anyways,
all right. We do indeed. So 16 Tambourines released October 1983, produced by the one and only Earl Mankey, as you mentioned earlier, released on Frontier Records. We talked to Lisa Fancher about releasing this. So she was involved since the Salvation Army days. Their first full-length album, right? After Baroque Hoedown, the EP, comes the first full-length, 16 Tambourines. Released on multiple different copies, as we've seen, and multiple different formats. This album is known to be one of the classic Paisley Underground albums, for sure, with its very Baroque sounding music and original lineup. So we have Danny Benair on drums, Michael Correcio bass and vocals, Louis Gutierrez on guitar, and Mickey Mariano on keyboards.
Mike Mariano. Okay, so Jeff and I have added him to our list of unicorns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mike Mariano, Susanna Hoffs, and we've got a few others.
Kendra Smith.
Oh,
Kendra. Carl
Percoda. I mean, it's a list that will probably continue to grow. But
Earl
one
Mankey.
of the
Earl Mankey, right?
Earl Mankey as well. Absolutely.
Yes.
But one of the things that I think is interesting is no matter how far away you get from this album in terms of years, you can't, it's always so refreshing to play it. Sound is still really vibrant and fun. And man, we want to talk to Mike Mariano, because Mike Mariano's imprint is on this album, and he adds so much dimension to a lot of the songs. So it's just, it's great to listen to it. But Mike Mariano, if you're listening, or if your sister is listening and can pass a message, Jeff and I would love to talk to Mike Mariano about the music he's made, because it's fun music. It's good music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this album is super important to me. I would venture to say that the most important album of the Paisley Underground to me is this 16 Tambourines. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite, but it's definitely the most important to me, just because of where I was when I bought it, and that point
Mhm.
of my life, I think I know every single word on this album. I could probably quote everything from the lyrics and from the credits on this. I've just devoured this album, so I'm glad that we're spending a little bit of time today
Yeah.
focusing just on it. And we had reached out to the one and only Michael Quercio to find out where the title from this came. I don't know if that's ever come up on any discussions that we've had. We've had Michael on the show a couple times, nor did it come up when we spoke with Danny, who was on our show a few times. But Michael was kind enough to respond just as we were hitting the record button today. So we just received this a couple of minutes ago. And Soraya, if you don't mind, would you share what Michael's response was to our
Sure.
question? Where did the title from 16 Tambourines come from?
Yeah. And again, we want to thank Michael Curcio for reaching out to us and letting us know this background for 16 Tambourines. So here goes, and I'm quoting directly, okay? Literally from him. Earl Mankey, the producer, was working with clearing tracks on the 16-track recorder for backing vocals on the song On My Own. He wanted to multi-track the ooh-la-las that come at the end of the song. I was sitting with him in the control room when he casually said that the sound of them was going to shimmer like 16 tambourines. Right? Then I said out loud for everyone to hear, that's what we're going to name the album.
Nice.
There you go.
Bravo.
Bravo. And thank you, Michael Curcio, and thank you, Earl Mankey.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's fantastic. I love that. I think there was a contest for the 3 O'Clock's Paint Box around the time that this album came out. And I forgot what you could win. I want to say it was some kind of 3 O'Clock record. But I believe that the contest was they were asking for people to interpret song lyrics, and if you could write in and say what you thought a song was about or what any title was. And I think I submitted an entry, and I think I was guessing that the title had something to do with the number of little tambourine chimes that was on a tambourine, and I had one at my house and I counted them and there were 16 on the one that I had. So that's what I said. I said somebody was sitting around counting the little cymbal chimes or whatever you call them on the tambourine, and came up with 16 of them. And I said they were probably in some kind of altered state when they were counting it, and said, all right, 16 tambourines. So tambourines being predominant in some of the music. So that was my guess. And I didn't win, by the way. So
Close.
I was close. All right. So I say we jump into some music here.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then one of the things we also have to say is you and I have talked about quite a few of the tracks on this album. But I think I'm going to assume if anyone thinks they know what you and I are going to pick, I think they might be surprised today.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
you're right. I think
All
so.
right. So, in a big old shocker, none of us picked the number one track on side A.
The single.
So, which is an amazing song in its own right, but Jeff and I focused on other songs. So
Yeah.
I think, Jeff, we should start with you.
All right.
What's your first pick?
So my first pick, and I thought about Jet Fighter, of course, being the leadoff track and picking that one. And the one song from this album that Mickey Mariano, added input to, I think he actually came up with the starting lick that started it from what Danny told us. Everybody knows Jet Fighter, so I decided to skip that one and go to track 2, Stupid Einstein is my first pick. So the guitars on this are amazing. I should mention that besides a cover version on this album, that all of the songs were written by Michael Quercio and Luis Gutierrez, with help from Mickey Mariano on Jet Fighter. Stupid Einstein, this 12-string guitar, the part is just amazing, and it just pulls me in, and it's so melodic and so catchy. I've tried learning it a few times. I think I've come pretty close to figuring out how it is, and just watching Louis play it. And the guitar is amazing, and Michael sounds fantastic on it. It's just a fantastic track, and I could probably listen to the song over and over and over forever, which I have. It's amazing when they've done it live, even on the reunion shows. They play this one live, and hearing Lewis and seeing him pull out this 12-string guitar, which he usually has to borrow. I don't think he owns a 12-string Rickenbacker at this point, but it's just so catchy, and it's probably one of my all-time favorite top 50 songs from any band ever. It's just a fantastic track. So my first pick is Stupid Einstein. So let's give it a play. How great is that?
Such a tight song, start to finish. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know what the song is about, but I remember from that aforementioned contest that they had I think they printed they printed some of the submissions, and somebody said that feel and go through you, that A in and represented acid. So feel the acid going through you, and and I think they might have mentioned that that wasn't correct, but it was that they were going to share that anyways because they thought it was interesting. So I don't know what the song is about, but it's just so catchy. I love the little bridge part in there. That dun 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 dun. There's just so many good parts of the song. Just so catchy, so fun.
One of the things that I think I'm reminded of every time this album comes up for me and it's played is the beautiful harmonies in terms of vocals. And on my pick, it also comes up, and it comes up in peculiar ways. So on side one, we start out Jet Fighter, then Jeff's pick, Stupid Einstein, then track 3, And So We Run, and then we come upon my pick, my first pick, which is Fall to the Ground. Now, Fall to the Ground is a song that, for me, I always kind of go back and forth in terms of, which is my favorite this month, or, but I keep coming back to this song because this song it's haunting and beautiful. And the way it starts out and the way it ends to me kind of mirror what's happening in the song. So we start out with this very innocent piano, and at the end, we're left with some very innocent sounding but very haunting whispered vocals and a very lonely bass line. And I love a lot of things about this song, but let's play it. Fall to the Ground, track 4. Me chills. It's look, this is me just way overthinking it, but to me it's like every time I hear those drums, it's like a heartbeat, right? Like a racing heartbeat. And it's that line, you know, the bridge will end it all. And it's like, okay, it's very innocent. Things look okay, but they're not. Then you hear that guitar strum like boom, boom, boom. The drums, chun, 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 and it's like this crescendo. Then you get to the end. It's like a movie. Then you get to the end, and it's just this very whispered, you know, like the lights go down, see her fall to the ground, and then boom, 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 and it's almost like I could picture a movie, and like that last part is her taking the step off the bridge, and like ding, 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 ding. Like it's very cinematic to me. This song, but it's good. Good.
It's a great song.
Woo!
And
And it's that one harmony is like falling down after that first verse.
yeah, it's gotta be Mickey Mariano singing that.
Mickey Mariano, man, woo!
Yeah, and the song ends on it sounds like a guitar harmonic where it's like, "Gong," and which is funny because when you think of her falling and landing, right, it just ends on a very soft sound.
Right.
Harmonic.
I don't. Every time I hear it, I'm reminded of the bridge jump from the Monkeys movie Head
Oh yeah, yep,
into the water.
yeah,
I don't. It just reminds me of that.
yeah.
But
That's a good visual.
that bass line is so chilling at the end. Dum 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 dum. It's like,
Yeah, like a heartbeat almost.
woo.
Yeah. And then I will say that I hear an influence of Left Bank in this,
Okay.
and I know that Michael has mentioned that before, and I always heard like a '60s kind of vibe, of course, with the 3 o'clocks earlier stuff, and I was often wondering like what bands were super influential for them, and we know like the Easy Beats. We hear they did the cover, Bee Gees. They did a cover here on 16 Tambourines. But the first time that Michael had mentioned Left Bank, it was like ding, like
Yeah.
there it is. Like that you can hear their sound, that very Baroque sounding
Right.
sound, and I definitely hear that in
Absolutely.
particular track. So great pick, love it.
Woo, good pick, Jeff. All right, Jeff.
All right,
So
and
you're doing something unusual.
2 songs from the same side.
2 songs from the same side. Okay, so what's your second pick?
All right, so it's the last song on side 1, and it's A Day in Erotica. So the title cracks me up. There's an early version on the Hidden World and the Aquarius Andromeda compilations of this track, which are very interesting because this to me is the most psychedelic song
Yeah.
on this album. When there's all these layers of vocals going on and all this craziness, and you hear these sounds, like I picture like a diner and just hearing these extraneous sounds going on, like somebody walking through some kind of a store or restaurant, and you hear clanging of plates and whatnot, and all these overlapped voices, and it's it's just a trip. So I remember the first time hearing this song and thinking this is way out, so they've got these nice melodies going with songs like Tomorrow and Fall to the Ground, and then you got this very bizarre thing that's kind of in the middle of the album. It seems like it would be maybe like a last track on an album, maybe like Revelation 9, but towards the end, like the Beatles did before Goodnight, something like that. But nope, here it is, placed right in the middle of the album, end of side 1, and I just picked it because it's the trippiest sounding thing and most psychedelic, and the scene is known for having a little bit of psychedelia and 60s in it. So A Day in Erotica definitely fills that sound, and while still being psychedelic, some psychedelic songs are so way out that they're hard to grasp sometimes for me because they're so trippy. But this one has that vibe that where it's out there, but still it's catchy, and they've got those melodies that only Michael Quercio can just sink into me. So Day in Erotica, I'm not sure what it's about again, but I just like the trippiness of it and the places it goes, and try to follow some of these vocals that are overlapping. It's kind of hard because there's so many different things going on, but let's give it a listen. A Day in Erotica.
A day in erotica, where you're fun as everyone greets her. Tonight, what you There's nothing left to say. Surrendering all that you must do. A white flag, and false for you. But she'll live with anyone that will live with her too. And she would run for miles, run to you. But she's a mainstream off the bill that knows what to do. And she would run for miles, run to you. And she would run for miles, run to you. And she would run for miles, run to you.
I love the production on that. Earl Mankey just did a great job. This and Stupid Einstein. I love how the acoustic and the electric guitars sound. It just sounds so good. And that before it gets into that really trippy part in the break where it's at that sound like I'm on a merry-go-round, right?
That's where you're waiting for Anne to go right through you. Literally.
exactly.
Because it's like dun, 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 and then it's noise, and then it's like da, 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 and you're like, and that's a freak out. That's a
Yeah,
auditory freak out. Yeah.
it is. It is. But great track.
And then Jeff, you and I happened to be at a show where they played it live,
Yes.
and it was supposedly the first time it had been played live because it was difficult to replicate. And the great Adam Marin at the time was playing with the band, and we saw 3 o'clock open for the Brian Jonestown Massacre here in Los Angeles.
That's
A
right.
couple of years ago. Was it 2015, 2014, 2015?
Yeah, I think 2015 sounds about right.
And I remember the buildup was, we're going to play something live that hasn't been played live. And we were all kind of wondering what it was. And when they played it, I think we were with a group of friends that we've been going to see the shows by 3 o'clock. And I think collectively our jaws were just dropped.
Yeah.
And it was really well done, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was well done. And just by listening to that song on the album, I mean, the production quality, obviously never going to match Earl in the studio, but it was good. And it's just, I don't know, it's just something out of a dream. You know, this song is dreamlike.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and they, for a song that is put together so much in the studio, I mean, that's a studio song, right? With all that stuff that's going on, they did a good job of pulling it off.
Yeah,
for being such a studio track.
Kudos to the band and kudos to Adam Marin.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they couldn't have pulled it off without Adam.
Oh no.
Or somebody of his caliber.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on. Okay, so A Day in Erotica ends side 1. So side 2, Jeff leaves me all by myself.
You get the whole side.
That's okay. I get the whole side. So side 2 it starts with Tomorrow, Then In My Own Time, which is a cover of a a 60s era Bee Gees song, and beautifully done.
Yes.
On My Own, When Lightning Starts, and Seeing is Believing. And my second pick is track 4,
Ah.
When Lightning Starts. I've talked about this song before. I've talked about how much I like this song. And there's a number of reasons why.
Okay.
But one of the things about When Lightning Starts is it's such a unusual song for the rest of the album. It's like a complete departure because you've got horns, you've got organ, you've got drums, you've got it all, and you've got these really light vocals and these cool harmonies. This is a fantastic song, and if you sleep on this song, you shouldn't. So let's listen to it and we'll talk about it some more. When Lightning Starts.
In the morning when you see that girl in her world, will that make the loving start? Or do you take the time to do the things and do these things, making sure you'll never part? Never part. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts from your heart. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts. In the evening when you dance with her, when music's heard, does that make life all worthwhile? We must know about the place you'll live, the gifts you'll buy, the gifts you'll give, different ways to make us smile. For a while. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts from your heart. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts. And yes, I've seen your world. All the love surrounds you. And when you're around, we'll be hanging around you, hanging around you. When you're older, will you marry her and take her to your world where things go as they will? We must know about the way you feel a girl so fine, a love so real, and the fun you have in store. Tell us more. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts from your heart. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts. And yes, I've seen your world. All the love surrounds you. And when you're around, we'll be hanging around you, hanging around you. Woo! It sounds fabulous now, but we already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts from your heart. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts from your heart. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts from your heart. We already know why. We already know why. The lightning starts.
This song.
Yeah.
Love this song. Okay, first of all, I can only read from the credits, right? So trumpet, Gary Boney, trombone, Barry Adams Saperstein, saxophone, Michael Barbera, and then a few others, although but I just want to deal with, and we'll also mention that Will Glenn also makes an appearance on this album, who we've
Yes.
talked about before.
Yes.
All right. One of the cool things I like about this song, so it starts out right with that dun 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 dun. So these cool drums, you hear this trumpet, then the bass, and then boom, Mike Mariano
Yeah.
bringing this song like just gut punch. Cool bridge, great harmonies, and it's just, and then you hear that fun guitar just all throughout. Then at the end, you get horns, but this time it's that sax is standing out. It's just like loud sax, drums, bass. Then you get that final cool bass line,
Yeah.
and then da bum bum. Ha.
Yeah.
It's just a different sound, because when you think of Jet Fighter, you hear more rock. In my own time, it's this cool 60s, very organ heavy sound. Then, and so we run, you get Stupid Einstein, Tomorrow, you get different sounds. But this one, to me, because of the horns, it's just like, it's a completely different track. And I love it.
Yeah.
Can't say enough about it.
Yeah, it's a great pick, and it's got that a dance vibe to it. Almost there's with those horns, you've got almost some like Motown influence.
And see, and that's the thing, is it makes you think about the 60s. It makes you think about a dance track, and that trumpet, like just now listening to it again, I'm all, why does that trumpet remind me of Herb Alpert?
Oh.
Like early Tijuana brass, and it's like that trumpet line being used in a dance song. Who knew?
Yeah. It just hit me, Soraya, and this could be a stretch, and I could be way off on this, but I know that Michael is a huge fan of the Supremes and Diana Ross.
Oh yes.
It just hit me that this has a feel of some of those early Supremes songs.
I'll tell you this much. It won't surprise me if we ask Michael, hey, did this song have any, foot in Supremes? And him going, oh yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, but watch, we'll ask him to go, oh no, it's something totally different.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that at all. It was all Black Sabbath.
Oh no, it was all early Cream. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But, possible.
Yeah.
I never put anything past Michael Corsi.
Yeah.
Never.
True. Yeah. I'm not going to.
He's a man of many tastes. And so, but this is just a cool, different song. I like it.
I will say that I saw the band on this tour when they were doing 16 Tambourines, and they had those guys, that horn section. I think it was the first time that I'd seen the 3 o'clock play. It was at this place down in San Diego, and they had the 3 guys behind them, and it just sounded fantastic. They did the song, of course, and it sounded amazing with those guys blowing away into their reeds, and a great live track too.
Jeff, every time I've heard this song live, no, it doesn't matter where I am, I will sing that in the second time he goes around with the chorus towards the end, and it goes dun 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 dun, and he goes woo. I'll do that out loud. That's how ingrained this song is in me, and I'll never forget. I was at the warm-up show for the 3 o'clock
Orange County
in 2013 when they played in Pomona
Constellation Room.
at the
I think they called it the Constellation Room.
the
But that was that room of, I don't know what they called that place.
oh my gosh, no, the Glass House. It was at the Glass
Oh,
House.
okay, I'm off.
At the Glass House.
Okay.
And I hadn't met you yet. I didn't know any of my other 3 o'clock concert friends yet. So I was by myself. And I was standing in the crowd. I think you and I were standing in a basic area, similar. Like I was close by. Now I look at the picture, I see you. I'm like, it got to that part and I'm the only one. I go, woo! People turned around like, what? guess I'm all alone on this one, just for me.
I love
But
it.
I've done it every single time.
How can you not? Yeah, I mean, it's part of the song for you.
Oh my gosh.
And
And I'm sure people go, that's not even in the song, but
it is.
duly noted. It's in the frickin' song. So
Yeah. And the parts, the background vocals, especially towards the end where they're going, woo, woo. That's so
Love
so
that.
good.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's really charming about this 3 o'clock is you hear these harmonies and you hear that influence on this album. You hear this 60s influence because then you move on to Arrive Without Traveling and we get a different flavor. We get a different band.
Yep.
Because the influences are different or they went in a different direction. But yeah, how did we never talk about 16 Tambourines by itself?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we've talked about the album, of course, in different conversations, but not a whole episode devoted strictly to that. Yeah. So we're correcting that wrong and making it right.
Yes, we are correcting ourselves. And I didn't look at track length, but I think perhaps A Day in Erotica is maybe over the 3-minute mark.
Yeah. Yep. So that one and Seeing is Believing in the 4.5 minute range. So
you know what? Just enjoy it. Enjoy the music. Don't worry about the length. That's what we say, at least.
Yeah. So great album, classic Paisley Underground, essential Paisley Underground album. And I did want to mention a couple things before we sign off. Coming up next, I think we're going to be talking to Van Christian of Naked Prey. We might be having our buddy Ronnie back on. We're in talks about getting that.
We're talking with Ronnie's people.
Yeah, yeah, we're talking with Ronnie's people. So I think he's not only does he have like a music representation, but I think he's got some film representation now that he's becoming more Hollywood. So it's getting harder and harder to get to Ronnie. Let's just say that.
He fancy now. He fancy.
He fancy indeed. And I did want to, I think we can almost have a news section of the Paisley Underground because there's a little bit of news I think we can talk about in Paisley Underground. So it's come to our knowledge that there's a documentary about the Dream Syndicate that's coming up.
Yeah.
Emiel Spolder from Netherlands made a post, and on YouTube you can find a trailer for an upcoming documentary about the Dream Syndicate called Beyond the Days of the Dream Syndicate. And Soraya, this looks fantastic. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks good. I mean, he's done his work and was able to talk to quite a bit of people.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, there's a few people in there. Members of the band, Chris Robinson from Black Crowes.
Black Crowes.
Yeah, I've read
Ryan Adams too.
Yes, yeah, some pretty big name folks in there. So that's pretty exciting. And another little bit of news. We've had guests in town, and my wife's first cousin in town, and we decided while they were here, they wanted to go to Catalina Island. So we went down to San Pedro and jumped on a boat, went over to Catalina for the day. And
Did you sleep on a golf course?
We did pass a golf course, which is interesting because you and I are very fascinated about the Paisley Underground Catalina Island trip, right?
Yes.
So I wasn't happy that we had to sail out of San Pedro because that's the farthest from our house, but the other two locations were sold out, so we couldn't go out of Long Beach or Dana Point. So we had to go down to out of San Pedro. But my thought is when we went out of there, I'm going to reenact this whole Paisley Underground trip to the best of my knowledge, which is very limited. So we got there, and on my birthday, a couple days later, we were on our road trip around the American Southwest, and you tagged me on a post of Michael Quercio's.
Yes.
Had a photo of the band, of members of the Paisley Underground on their Catalina Island trip, which we've been very fascinated about. And I've come to learn that our buddy, Eric Shade, who is writing a book about the Bangles, and I'm not going to say too much because it's not my story to tell, it's his. Right. But in his research for his upcoming Bengals book, he was able to locate this photo.
Yeah.
And it got out a little bit more than he had hoped for, right? Because it was an exclusive that he had for his book. This book is going to be fantastic. So it's going to include a lot of information about other members of the Paisley Underground, but it's primarily about it's a book about the Bengals.
Right.
But this photo came out of his research. So this
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and nobody's seen this photo. And again, without sharing too much, he was able to find this particular photo from somebody mentioned in a 3 o'clock song. And again, it's his story to tell. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Eric wrote about it rather publicly-ish.
Yeah.
Because he posted it in a Bengals group.
Yes.
And so he mentioned the story, but maybe one day we should have Eric on so he can tell the story.
Yeah.
And share it. But that photo, Jeff,
yes.
tells me there's one photo. There are probably 10. But it's stuck somewhere in a box that people don't know about. But I cannot, when Michael Corcio shared it, I was so happy to see it because it confirmed that this trip happened and that it wasn't just committed solely to memory, but there was a photo. Yeah. This is the picture that Michael Corcio shared and that Eric Shade later mentioned was something he turned up as part of his research for his upcoming book.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Eric, for this.
I love all the photos, all the people in that photo. There are a couple of people I can't identify, the two women to the right.
Yes.
Right or left of Michael Corcio. But anyways, it's a good thing. So Jeff, you know what that leaves me thinking?
What's that?
Is that then there are pictures of the green on red barbecues.
Right? Someone's
got to have one.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's Mr. Sid Griffin, who is over in the UK. He may have a photo of these barbecues, because it was, again, under his roof, right?
Yeah.
It was those green on red barbecues happened in the place where Sid, Vicky Peterson, and Dan Stewart lived together. Was it Vicky or Debbie?
I think it was Vicky.
Yeah. So if you attended one of these green on red barbecues and have a photo, we would love to see it merely to confirm that it happened.
Yeah.
Because people have told us about them, but cannot tell us too much about them.
Right.
But, but this is a great thing. And then I know when Michael shared it, other members of the Paisley Underground, I think were also just as surprised and happy to see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if anything, what it proves or what it shows is that Jeff, you and I sitting in a time capsule during, in this small moment in the LA music scene. There are others that will gladly sit with us and reminisce and look at photos and listen to music from that era.
Absolutely.
So, but also, I think we also need to mention, since it is our news segment and we have mentioned it before, more photos have come out from a recording session of the Dream Syndicate's new album. So I'm really looking forward to it. And we saw a Mr. Stephen McCarthy show up to that studio. So one can only hope and wish and think and hope and pray that he appears on that album as well and lends and contributes something like he did on the previous one. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Pleasant surprise.
Jeff, this was good.
Yeah.
Good way to start the day.
Yeah. 16 tambourines.
Somewhere in my boxes that I brought over from my parents' house and are now sitting in my garage is that cassette.
Yeah.
Which I had the cassette, I had the LP, and somewhere down the road when this thing called a CD came out, I'm sure I got a CD.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But anyways. Mi gente, I gotta be out.
Groove on, Paisley people.
We are young, we have no fear. Take the old Roman arias, 'cause what they say is what we never hear today. And so we run, and we've begun to think as we want to, and we've begun to do as we want to, and we've begun. Every day, a summer's day, and at night we'll fly away, 'cause there's nothing on earth that seems so real today. And so we run, and we've begun to think as we want to, and we've begun to do as we want to, and we've begun. We have gone away. We have gone away. Did you know? 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 We have gone away. We have gone away. Did you know? 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 And did you ever think that we could feel this way? And so we run, and we've begun to think as we want to, and we've begun to do as we want to, and we've begun. And so we run, and we've begun to think as we want to, and we've begun to do as we want to, and we've begun. And so we run, and we've begun to think as we want to, and we've begun.